So welcome guys, this is our day 4 of digital audit and part 2. तो इससे पहले हम पढ़ चुके हैं कि हमने की फीचर्स ऑफ डिजिटल ऑडिटिंग डिजिटली पढ़े हैं। हमने आईटी इन्वायरमेंट की कॉम्प्लेक्सिटीज़ पढ़ी हैं, कैसे आइडेंटिफाई करें कि क्या-क्या आईटी डिपेंडेंसीज़ हैं और उसके इम्पैक्ट ऑन ऑडिट पढ़े हैं। हमने नॉलेज गेन करी है कि हम आईटी रिस्क को कैसे आइडेंटिफाई करें और उनके रिलेटेड कंट्रोल्स को कैसे समझें। देन हमने समझाया कि कौन-कौन से साइबर रिस्क हो सकते हैं और देन हमने समझाया कि रिमोट ऑडिट क्या होता है और उसके क्या-क्या एडवांटेजेस और डिसएडवांटेजेस होते हैं। देन हमने पढ़ा है कि लर्न द कंट्रोल ऑब्जेक्टिव्स दैट ऑडिटर शुड कंसीडर इन परफॉर्मिंग आईटी ऑडिट। Learn the control objectives that auditor should consider in performing IT audit. Then know the types of tools available in performing digital audit. Learn the usage of data analytics in assessing and analyzing key data. तो हमारा केस वेयर आज हम यहाँ से चैप्टर स्टार्ट करेंगे अपना एमर्जिंग टेक्नोलॉजीज इन ऑडिट। तो अभी क्या है कि जैसे समय बीत रहा है, नई नई ऑडिट टेक्निक्स हमारी आती जा रही है मार्केट के अंदर। ठीक है, तो अभी क्या है कि बहुत तो ये जो ऑडिट जो टूल्स हैं ये क्या करते हैं, बहुत ज़्यादा ईज़ प्रोवाइड करते हैं कि आप अपने मतलब कि ईज़ इस तरीके से प्रोवाइड कराते हैं कि जो हमारा मैनुअल काम था, बहुत ज़्यादा क्लैरिकल लेवल का काम था, उसमें तो ये डेफिनेटली बहुत ईज़ आउट करता है। जैसे कि सैंपल को एक्सट्रैक्ट करना और क्या नाम है, जैसे कि सैंपल को एक्सट्रैक्ट करना या फिर टेस्ट ऑफ डिटेल्स करना, एक्सेप्शंस को फाइंड आउट करना। तो पहले क्या होता, अभी भी बहुत सारी फर्म क्या करती है कि वही एक्सेल में रिपोर्ट्स को डाउनलोड कर करके फिर उसे मतलब कि मैनुअली उसे डेटा को एनालाइज करके देन एक्सेप्शन निकालने की कोशिश करते हैं। पर ये ऑडिट टेक्नोलॉजी ऐसी है कि आपको कुछ नहीं करना, आपको सिर्फ अपना डेटा उसके अंदर अपलोड करना है और वो अपने आप खुद से आपको सैंपल प्रोवाइड कराएगा, खुद से उस डेटा को एनालाइज करके एक्सेप्शन रिपोर्ट निकालेगा। और वो एक्सेप्शन रिपोर्ट इतनी ज़्यादा मतलब कि काबिल होती हैं, इतनी ज़्यादा अच्छी होती हैं कि आपको मतलब कि आप खुद हैरान हो जाओगे कि ये मतलब कि मैं तो खुद निकाल ही नहीं सकता था इतनी, मतलब कि निकाल भी सकता था, मतलब काफ़ी टाइम लगता है। तो ये बहुत अच्छे से हेल्प करते हैं ये वाली जो एमर्जिंग टेक्नोलॉजीज़ है। तो ये कौन-कौन सी है, एक बार हम पढ़ते हैं पहले एमर्जिंग टेक्नोलॉजीज़ ऑडिट क्या होता है। ठीक है, emerging technologies are altering the financial reporting environment substantially, and this change is accelerating. Some examples of emerging technologies are data analytics, CATs, computer assisted audit techniques, ACL, alt text, Power BI, Caseware, artificial intelligence, robotic process automation, and blockchains. These are changing the way business gets done, and auditors are leading by transforming their own process. As the use of emerging technologies in the financial reporting process increases, it becomes important for auditor and client to upskill on the emerging technologies. Some important considerations for auditor are to assess the impact of emerging technologies on business and evaluate whether management is properly assessing the impact of emerging technologies on internal control over financial reporting. Data analytic techniques. Generating and preparing meaningful information from raw system data using processes, tools and techniques is known as data analytics. कि मतलब कि हमें रॉ डेटा से हमें मीनिंगफुल इनपुट्स इंफॉर्मेशन को हमें जब गैदर करते हैं तो हम उसे डेटा एनालिटिक्स कहते हैं। Audit analytics or audit data analytics involves analyzing large set of data to find actionable insights, trends, draw conclusions, and for informed decision making. The use of audit analytics enables greater efficiencies and more accurate findings from review process. As a result, businesses will be able to create strategies based on verifiable data and professional assumptions, and auditor can improve the audit quality. It allows auditor to more effectively audit the large amount of data held and processed in IT system in large clients. Audit analytics helps to discover and analyze patterns, identifying anomalies, extract other useful information in data. The data analytics methods used in an audit are known as computer-assisted audit techniques or CATs. It involves the use of multiple data analytics tools or visualization tools that can help the auditor to deep dive into the problem statement and hence increase the audit quality. This also minimizes the scope of missing out on key attributes that might be of a higher risk to the organization and its respective businesses. Auditor performing audit analytics can make use of various applications and tools that help them to analyze large data sets and obtain insights that help them to make the quality of audit better. Some of the popular tools used across the industry as part of CATs are listed below. कि यहाँ पे कुछ पॉपुलर टूल्स का यहाँ पे जिक्र करा हुआ है कौन कौन से हैं एक है ACL ऑडिट कमांड लैंग्वेज Analytics is a data extraction and analysis software used for fraud detection and prevention and risk management. It samples large data sets to find irregularities or patterns in transactions that could indicate control weakness or fraud. ACL is used to analyze and check complete datasets to perform trial balance reconciliation during the audit. In such case scenario, the entity provided the general ledger dump to system trial balance using ACL. The completeness of the data can be ensured as the dataset exceeded beyond the capacity of the Excel and basic functions like record, count, sum, pivoting can be performed with ACL where Excel could not perform such actions. तो इसमें बोला गया है कि जहाँ पर बहुत बड़ा एक डेटा सेट होता है वहाँ पे एक्सेल जो है वो अच्छे से परफॉर्म नहीं कर पाती वो क्या करती है बीच बीच में लैग करती है ठीक है तो और क्या है कि कोई कोई भी किसी भी कोई इंडिविजुअल होगा कोई भी इंडिविजुअल ऑडिटर होगा उसकी एक क्षमता होगी काम करने की ठीक है तो उसमें क्या है कि जब बहुत बड़े बड़े डेटा सेट होते हैं ना तो वहाँ पे पूरे के पूरे डेटा के ऊपर काम करना तो मतलब कि एक तरीके से बहुत ज़्यादा डिफिकल्ट होता है सैम्पलिंग होती है उसके अंदर क्या होता है ट्रेंड्स को एनालाइज करना बड़ा डिफिकल्ट होता है तो यहाँ पे ऐसे जो टूल्स है ऑडिट कमांड लैंग्वेज टूल्स होता है ये क्या करता है ये हमें यहाँ पे हेल्प करता है कि डेटा एक्सट्रैक्ट करने में एनालाइज करने में उसमें फ्रॉड डिटेक्ट करना ना और क्या नाम है आप उसके पैटर्न्स को फाइंड आउट करना तो यहाँ पे ये ACL जो होता है ना हमारा यूज करता है हेल्प करता है तो ये क्या लिखा है वो फिर से पढ़ते हैं कि ऑडिट कमांड लैंग्वेज एनालिटिक्स is a data extraction and analysis software used for fraud detection and prevention and risk management. It samples large data sets to find irregularities or patterns in transaction that could indicate control weakness or fraud. कि जो इंडिकेट कर सकता है कि क्या कंट्रोल वीकनेस है और क्या फ्रॉड होने के चांसेस है नेक्स्ट टूल है हमारा Ultrix. Ultrix is used to consolidate financial and operational data to assess controls. A fully transparent audit trail of every action is performed in Ultrix in form of workflow, which makes it easier for the user to learn as no prior knowledge of coding or scripting is required. Ultrix is used to consolidate or consolidate financial or operational data to assess controls. A fully transparent audit trail of every action is performed in Ultrix. A fully transparent audit trail in every action is performed in Alteryx in form of workflow, which makes it easier for the user to learn as no prior knowledge of coding or scripting is required. ओके तो इसमें बोला है कि ये यूज होता है फाइनेंशियल और ऑपरेशनल डेटा को कंसोलिडेट करने के लिए इसमें फुल्ली ट्रांसपेरेंट ऑडिट ट्रेल होती है ठीक है और इसमें कोई प्रायर नॉलेज की यहाँ कोडिंग की या स्क्रिप्टिंग की नॉलेज रिक्वायर्ड नहीं होती Portrix can also be leveraged to automate analytics and perform machine learning to search for patterns indicative of fraud or irregularities. Speed up your process like accounting close, tax filings, regular reporting, forecast creation, etc. It can also be used to automate set procedures that are performed periodically like reconciliation, consolidation, marketing workflow, system integration, continuous audits, etc. तो ये तो बहुत ही मतलब कि ये तो मैनेजमेंट के लिए भी बहुत यूजफुल टूल है क्योंकि ये तो डे टू डे में रिकंसिलेशन हो गए आपका मार्केटिंग वर्कफ्लो सिस्टम इंटीग्रेशन, कंटिन्यूस ऑडिट, मतलब कंटिन्यूस ऑडिट और रिकंसिलिएशन, ये तो एक मैनेजमेंट की बहुत बड़ी नीड है। तो अच्छा सॉफ्टवेयर है। अच्छा, यहाँ पे एग्जांपल दिया है कि all tricks used for logistic organization to recompute the revenue entries recorded by the system to match with the financials that show us the expected revenue turnover. Due to all tricks processing speed and ease to implement functions, auditor could perform recomputation for all the transaction entry and noted that the revenue was being understated as the expected revenue was more than the actual calculated. This was due to the fact that the addendum between the logistics company and client was not revised in the system, and all versions of rates were used to compute the revenue. Alteryx helped in analyzing and recomputing the huge data set and to focus on actual risk. इसने लिखा है कि Alteryx used for logistics organizations to recompute the revenues entries recorded by the system to match with the financial and showcase the expected revenue turnover. Hmm. Recompute the revenue entries recorded by the system to match the financials that showcase the expected revenue turnover. Due to Alteryx processing speed and ease to implement functions, auditors could perform recalculation of all transaction entries and noted that the revenues was being understated as expected revenue was more than the actual calculated. This was due to the fact that the addendum between the logistics company and the client was not revised in the system, and old version of rates were used to compute the revenue. Alteryx helped in analyzing and recomputing the huge data set to the focus on actual risk. Okay, Alteryx ने यहाँ पे क्या हेल्प करा कि एनालाइज और रिकम्प्यूट करा ह्यूज डेटा सेट। तो इसमें ये कहा गया है कि यहाँ पर जो एक्सपेक्ट करा गया था उससे एक्चुअल रेवेन्यू कम था, तो उसने इस चीज़ को ये उसने Alteryx ने ये भी फाइंड आउट कर लिया कि क्लाइंट के और कंपनी के बीच में एक एग्रीमेंट था जिसके अंदर रेट को रिवाइज करना था, बट यहाँ पे क्या कैलकुलेशन कैसे हो रखा था, ओल्ड रेट्स पर हो रखा था। तो यहाँ पे उसने रेवेन्यू को रिकैलकुलेट करा बेस्ड अपॉन दी अपडेटेड कॉन्ट्रैक्ट्स। तो यहाँ से पता लगा कि रेवेन्यू का कम रिकॉर्ड हो रखा है। तो यहाँ पे इसने बहुत अच्छे से काम करा। देन हमारा एक टूल है पावर बीआई। Power BI is a business intelligence platform that provides non-technical business users with tools of aggregating, analyzing, visualizing, and sharing data. From audit perspective, such visualization tools can be used to find out the outliers in the populations. It can also be used to report purpose in an interactive dashboards to the higher managements. ठीक है, तो इसने दो काम करता है। एक तो ये क्या करता है, फाइंड करता है आउटलायर्स इन द पॉपुलेशन, और ये क्या करता है, इंटरेक्टिव डैशबोर्ड्स को क्रिएट करता है मैनेजमेंट के लिए। एग्जाम्पल क्या है इसका कि Power BI dashboards used for checking the outliers for of the apparel companies. Auditor were required to analyze the trends of the sales during the year. By the use of Power BI, the sales data provided by the client was further converted into dashboards to analyze the trends and patterns as per the market standards. In analysis performed on ultimately sales, it was noted that sales transactions were performed during the non-business hours. Illustrative charts before which were utilized as part of analyzing by the auditor. तो इससे हमें पता लगा कि जो सेल हो तो रिकॉर्ड कर रखा था वो नॉन बिजनेस आवर्स में कर रखा था। नेक्स्ट टूल है हमारा केसवेयर। Caseware is a data analysis software and provide tools that helps in conducting audit and insurance engagements quickly, accurately, and consistently. It shares क्या करता है in analytical insights which help in taking better informed decisions. It helps in streamlining processes and eliminating routine tasks used by accounting firms, government, and corporations worldwide. This trusted platform integrates everything you need to conduct assurance and reporting engagements. Example: Caseware provides a solution to build accounting software which turns any documents, including financial statement, into cost-effective client-ready report. It automatically links to client data and securely communicates with the client in a real time, regardless of location. All authorized users have access to the same document. Consistency of the data is ensured. Refer in screenshot below to illustrate audit review and compilation process maintained on screen. तो एक बार हम फिर से पढ़ लेते हैं। कौन-कौन से टूल्स होते हैं? सबसे पहला होता है ACL, ऑडिट कमांड लैंग्वेज। एनालिटिक्स इज़ अ डेटा एक्सट्रैक्शन एंड एनालिसिस सॉफ्टवेयर, ऑडिट कमांड लैंग्वेज। ऑडिट कमांड लैंग्वेज, data analysis software tools used primarily by auditors, accountants, and compliance software professionals to detect fraud, analyze financial, extract, analyze, and visualize large volume of data, identifies anomalies, automate audit tests, ensure data integrity and transparency. Scripting ACL use proprietary command-based scripting language for automation. Data filtering select data subsets based on the complex conditions. Joint or merge combined data. ACL filter amount greater than massive datasets reduce errors by avoiding Excel limitations. Strength internal control framework provides a repeatable, auditable process. Hmm. Is it a language, coding language? Does it does it who is knowledge of coding is necessary? Great question. Basic coding knowledge is helpful but not mandatory. Sir. But you don't need to program or simple command base is it free? ये कि ऑडिट कमांड लैंग्वेज एक क्या है, डेटा एक्सट्रैक्शन और एनालिसिस सॉफ्टवेयर है यूज फॉर फ्रॉड डिटेक्शन एंड प्रिवेंशन. It samples large data sets to find irregularities or patterns in transaction, and that could indicate control weakness or fraud. Alteryx is used to consolidate financial operation data to assess controls. A fully transparent audit trail of every action is performed in Alteryx in form of workflow, which makes it easier for the user to learn as no prior knowledge of coding and scripting is required. Power BI is a business intelligence यूज होता है एग्रीगेटिंग एनालाइजिंग विजुअलाइज करने में डेटा और इंटरेक्टिव डैशबोर्ड्स बनाने में. Caseware is a data analysis software and provides tools that helps in conducting audit, assuring engagement quickly, accurately, and consistently. Test your understanding tool. CAY is planning to use CATS extensive in an audit of a company, be it for compliance tests or substantive tests. Can you list out examples of few situations of tests performed by him using CATS? Use CATS extensive in audit of a company, be it for compliance tests or substantive test. Hmm. तो यहाँ पे सीए क्या करना चाहता है, कंप्लायंस टेस्ट करना चाहता है और सब्सटेंटिव टेस्ट करना चाहता है. कैन यू लिस्ट आउट सम एग्जांपल्स ऑफ फ्यू सिचुएशंस ऑफ टेस्ट परफॉर्म्ड बाय यूजिंग कैट्स? टेस्ट फॉर अंडरस्टैंडिंग टूल. टेस्ट योर नॉलेज. सबसे पहले आइडेंटिफाई एक्सेप्शंस. आइडेंटिफाई एक्सेप्शन ट्रांजैक्शन बेस्ड ऑन द सेट क्राइटेरिया. फॉर एग्जांपल कैश ट्रांजैक्शन अबव रुपीस. Test your understanding question. Identify errors. Identify data which is consistent or erroneous. For example, account number which is not numeric. Verify calculation. Reperform various computations in audit software to confirm the results from applicable software confirmed with the audit software. Example, TDS rate applied as per criteria. Existence of records. Identify fields which have null values. Hmm. Identify exceptions, identify errors, verify calculations, existence of records, identify fields which have null values. For example, invoices which do not have vendor name. Data completeness. Identify whether all fields have valid data. For example, null values in any field such as data, date, invoice number, or value or name. Data consistency. Identify data which are not consistent with the regular format. For example, invoice which are not in sequence. Duplicate payments. Establish relationship between two or more tables as required. For example, duplicate payment for the same invoice. Accounts exceeding authorized limit. Identify data beyond specified limits. For example, transactions entered by user beyond their authorized limits or payment to vendor beyond amount due or overdraft allowed beyond limit. Hmm. Identify exceptions. हुँ। तो यहाँ पे हमने पढ़ा था कि क्या कैसे-कैसे हम वो ऑडिटर हेल्प से ले सकता है, कि सबसे पहले आइडेंटिफाई एक्सेप्शंस में आइडेंटिफाई एरर्स, वेरीफाई कैलकुलेशन, एक्जिस्टेंस ऑफ रिकॉर्ड, डेटा कंप्लीटनेस, डेटा कंसिस्टेंसी, देन है हमारा डुप्लीकेट पेमेंट्स, एक्सीडिंग ऑथराइज्ड लिमिट्स। तो इन एरियाज़ में यहाँ पे हेल्प ले सकता है ऑडिटर। So फिर से एक बार आइडेंटिफाई एक्सेप्शंस, आइडेंटिफाई एरर्स, वेरीफाई कैलकुलेशंस, एक्जिस्टेंस ऑफ रिकॉर्ड्स, डेटा कंप्लीटनेस, डेटा कंसिस्टेंसी, duplicate payments, account exceeding authorized limits. We were back to our study और ट्रिक्स हो गया. Automated or tools in audit. Enterprises are adopting emerging technologies at a rapid pace to create synergies and harness the latest technologies. यहाँ पे टूल्स की बात, यहाँ पे सॉफ्टवेयर की बात नहीं हो रही, यहाँ पे टूल्स की बात हो रही है, टेक्नोलॉजीज की बात हो रही है. टेक्नोलॉजी जैसे कि robotic process automation, blockchain, machine learning, Internet Things, artificial intelligence are some prime example of automations. Automation and use of technology often requiring auditor to understand and perform procedures on a larger group of systems that produce information relevant to the produce of financial statements. Based on the management's and auditors' independent risk assessment procedures, the auditor scope may need to include peripheral systems, as well as testing general IT and application control related to those systems due to increased use of technology that is relevant to financial reporting. Internet on Things. IoT is a concept of connecting any device to the internet. Key components of IoT are data collection, analytics, connectivity, and people and processes. IoT not only changes the business models but also affects the strategic objectives of the organization. The risk profile of the entity changes with the exposure to new laws and regulations. Hmm. Connected cars, connected manufacturing equipments, smart home security. The options for home security for doorbell cameras or outdoor cameras, users can view video feeds when they are away from home, or data from machines can be used to predict whether equipment will break down, giving manufacturers advance warning to prevent long stretch of downtime. Or a refrigerator. Place an order with a grocery store whenever the supply of X falls below a certain number. Or smart oven often works by scanning QR code and connected to Wi-Fi, which it then uses to determine the best temperature and time cook the food to avoid undercooking or burning. Researchers uses IoT devices to gather data about customer preference and behaviors through that can have serious implications for privacy and security. Hmm. Audit implications. A shift to connected devices and systems may result in auditors not being able to rely only on manual controls. Instead, auditors may need to scope new systems into their audit. Audit firms may need to train and upskill auditors to evaluate the design and operating effectiveness of automated controls. Consumer-facing tools that connected to business environment in a new ways can impact the flow of transaction and introduce new risks for management and auditor to consider. Consider payment processing tools that allow user to pay via credit cards at a retail location through a mobile device. This could create a new path for incoming payments that may rely in part on a new service providers. Supplying and routine information correctly. Auditor would need to consider the volume of those transactions and process and controls related to it. Common risk of IoT. The key risks associated with IoT include device hijacking, data siphoning, denial of services attacks, and data breach and device theft. तो डिनाइल ऑफ सर्विस अटैक तो सबसे ज़्यादा इसमें ज़्यादा घातक है. क्यों? क्योंकि आपके डिवाइस को क्योंकि आपका डिवाइस नेटवर्क से कनेक्ट है. आपके नेटवर्क पे को हाईजैक करके उसने अगर डिवाइस को हाईजैक कर दिया तो फिर डिवाइस वो काम ही नहीं करेगा जब तक जो हाईजैकर है वो उसको जैसे चाहे वैसे यूज़ कर सकता है. तो यहाँ पे डिनाइल ऑफ सर्विस का खतरा तो ज़्यादा है. और डेटा ब्रीच, क्योंकि जो भी डिवाइस है वो डे टू डे बेसिस पे आपके डेटा गैदर कर रहा है. तो यहाँ पे कंपनियाँ क्या करती है कि अपने कस्टमर्स के पैटर्न ऑफ मतलब कि प्रेफरेंसेस को, पैटर्न ऑफ यूसेज ऑफ एनी प्रोडक्ट को मतलब कि देखने के लिए यहाँ पे बड़ी-बड़ी कंपनियाँ क्या करती हैं, यहाँ पे इंटरफेयर करती हैं उनके डेटा में, ठीक है ना? तो डेटा थेफ्ट का तो यहाँ पे बहुत बड़ा खतरा है। नेक्स्ट हमारी टेक्नोलॉजी है आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस। आर्टिफिशियल इंटेलिजेंस रेफर्स टू अ सिस्टम और अ मशीन दैट कैन थिंक एंड लर्न, जो सोच सकती है और जो उसके बाद में लर्न भी कर सकती है। AI system utilize data analysis and algorithms to make decisions based on the predictive methods. तो वो क्या करती है, डेटा एनालिसिस और एल्गोरिथम को यूज करके डिसीजन लेती है बेस्ड ऑन द प्रिडिक्टिव मेथड्स। Complex algorithms are developed to propose decisions based on the pattern or behavior learned over time. Self-driving car, manufacturing robots, smart assistants, marketing chatbots, virtual travel booking agents. The self-deploying robots can determine how much vacuuming there is to do based on a room size. Uses AI to scan room size, identify obstacles, or remember for the most efficient routes for cleaning. Siri to help find your airports or told Amazon Alexa to turn off the lights. Quick commands to open a phone camera or start a particular playlist. AI to predict when to book the lowest price for flights, hotels, car, and vacation home rentals. Using historical flights and hotel data, AI will also recommend to the users whether the booking has reached its lowest price point or if the user should hold out a bit longer for the price to drop. Auditor implications. Given the invisible nature of algorithms, audit must focus on the logical flow of the process. A review of AI should ascertain whether unintended biases has been added to the algorithms. Auditor should assess the effectiveness of algorithms and whether their output is appropriately reviewed and approved. Because AI is built on the software modules, auditor must also consider cybersecurity and search the possible bugs and vulnerabilities that can be exploited to infect AI functionality. Auditors should confirm that their understanding of how the use of AI affects the entity's flow of transactions, including the generation of reports or analytics used by management. Auditor should consider whether the AI is making decision or being utilized by management as a part of decision making process. तो यहाँ पे ऑडिटर को कंसिडर करना चाहिए कि क्या AI डिसीजन ले रही है और या फिर यूटिलाइज करा जा रहा है मैनेजमेंट के द्वारा डिसीजन मेकिंग प्रोसेस में. If management shifts its focus on oversight by relying on AI, auditors should understand what shift occurred, how new risk might be addressed, and whether existing risk may not be getting the same level of attention. Understanding these changes could drive changes in the audit approach. Common risk for AI. AI comes with a list of risks. Security is one of the key risks. The more data the system uses from the more sources, the more entry points and connections are formed and greater the potential risk. Inappropriate configuration. AI may also be used to diagnose medical conditions. If it is badly configured or malfunctions, it could harm people before the problem is spotted. Data privacy. The data used and shared should have the necessary explicit consent from the data providers. Our next technology is blockchain. So what is blockchain? So blockchain is a based on decentralized and distributed ledger. तो ये क्या होते हैं, decentralized और distributed ledgers होते हैं, that is secured through encryptions. Each transaction is validated by a blockchain participant, creating a block of information that is replicated and distributed to all participants. All blocks are sequenced so that any modification or deletion of a block disqualifies the information. Despite resistance, the benefits associated with blockchain technology are being recognized across a variety of other industries. Bitcoin, cryptocurrency transfer application, blockchain is a money transfer, blockchain is smart contracts. Audit implications. Auditors should consider the appropriate governance and security around transactions. Although blockchain core security premises rest on cryptography, there are risk factors associated with it. As blockchain interacts with legacy system and business partners, concern related to insecure application programming interface, data confidentiality, and privacy cannot be ignored. Weak blockchain application development protocols are sometimes auditor cannot overlook. Similarly, data privacy laws and regulations may be an area of concern, as data are communicated across geographic boundaries. Auditor must be able to determine whether the data put on blockchain will expose the enterprise for non-compliance with applicable laws and regulations. Common risk for blockchain technology. The strength of blockchain can also be its weakness. The inability to reverse transactions and to access data without the required keys make the system secure, but also means that organizations need specific protocols and management process to ensure that they are not locked out and have clear contingencies planned. Operating through network nodes could also expose the organization to cyber attacks and data hacks. So, security issues are important. Auditors should also ensure that the organization has a necessary data management process which complies with regulations. The regulatory landscape is still evolving for blockchain. So, audit teams should check that compliance managers are following development consistently and adapting processes accordingly. Our next technology is NFT, non-fungible tokens. NFT means something is unique and cannot be replaced. Unlike physical money and cryptocurrency are fungible, means that they can be traded or exchanged from one another. NFTs are non-fungible tokens. Non-fungible token contains the digital signature. क्या कंटेन करते हैं डिजिटल सिग्नेचर ये कंटेन करते हैं डिजिटल सिग्नेचर विच मेक देम यूनिक NFT are digital assets, example photos, videos, artwork, sport collectibles, etc. NFTs are tokens used to represent ownership of unique items. NFT allows their creator to tokenize things like art, collectibles, or even real estate. They are secured by the blockchain and can only have one official owner at a time. No one can change the record of ownership or copy paste a new NFT into existence. Key features of NFT: digital asset. NFT is a digital asset that represent internet collectibles like art, music, games with an authenticated certificate created by blockchain technology that underlies cryptocurrency. Unique. It cannot be forged or otherwise manipulated. Exchange. NFT exchanges take place with cryptocurrencies such as Bitcoin or specialist sites. Challenges of NFT. NFT has its own challenges like ownership, copyright concerns, security risk. Market is not that wide. Online fraud, etc. NFT audit considerations include comprehensive code review for verifying the safety of a token, valid contracts, data privacy, and potential cyber threat. Case studies. Case studies. XXXY Bank, headquartered in New York, offers a broad range of financial services, including asset management, commercial banking, investment banking, and treasury and security services. The five Indian banks in partnerships with XY Bank provide a comprehensive range of banking service and product encompassing retail banking, corporate banking, international banking, and other financial services. All these banks have significantly contributed to the digitalization of banking service in India. Under the pilot program, the Indian banks will provide an on-chain Nostro account with XY Bank branch in Gift City. The blockchain-based system is expected to facilitate instant 24 by 7 settlement between the accounts at the US banks. Essentially, it will create a private intra-correspondent banking network, redefining the traditional banking hours and enabling seamless money transfer. Following are the illustrative steps for performing audit of above said blockchain. Obtain a comprehensive understanding of the blockchain-based pilot program, including its objectives, scope, and key process involved. Obtain a comprehensive understanding of the blockchain based pilot program, including its following are the illustrative steps for performing audit of above said blockchain. Obtain a comprehensive understanding of the blockchain-based pilot program, including its objective, scope, key processes involved. ठीक है, सबसे पहले तो हमें पूरे की पूरे ब्लॉकचेन की हमें अंडरस्टैंडिंग लेनी है, उसमें हमें क्या करना है, उसके ऑब्जेक्टिव, उसके स्कोप और उसके की प्रोसेस की क्या प्रोसेस उसमें यूज हो रहा है. Review the partnership agreement, contract, and legal documentation governing the relationship between the Indian banks and XY Bank. Identify the specific blockchain technologies used, its functionality, and the underlying smart contracts. Assess internal controls. अच्छा, review policies and procedures related to own nostro account settlement process and money transfer mechanism. Assess the governance framework, risk management practices, and compliance procedures established by Indian banks and XY Bank. Review security measures. Assess encryption methods, cryptographic key management, and secure transmission protocols used for data protection. Review measures take to prevent unauthorized access, cyber threats, and potential vulnerabilities in a blockchain network. Test transaction validity and accuracy. Validate that the transactions are recorded and settled accurately on the blockchain, ensuring adherence to relevant regulations and control obligations. Perform reconciliations between on-chain Nostro accounts and the corresponding accounts held at XY Bank to confirm the accuracy of balance and transactions. Evaluate compliance and regulatory requirements. Review documentation and procedures related to customer due diligence, transaction monitoring, and reporting obligations. Ensure that the pilot program adheres to industry-specific standards and best practices. Assess business continuity and disaster recovery. Evaluate the adequacy of backup and recovery procedures, redundancies measures, and failover mechanisms to ensure uninterrupted operations. Test the effectiveness of these plans by conducting simulations and examining historical incident and response procedures. Report findings and recommendations. Provide recommendations for improving internal controls, security measures, compliance procedures, and overall efficiency and effectiveness of pilot program. Communicate audit results to the relevant stakeholders, highlighting areas of concern and suggested remedial actions. Our next technology is robotic process automation. Hmm. Robotic process automation. So, robotic process automation is the automation of repetitive process performed by users. It is a software technology that emulate human actions. Robotic process automation is the automation that of the repetitive process performed by user. It is a software technology that emulate human actions interacting with digital system and software. Process efficiency, customer experience, and control effectiveness contributed to RPA. Robotic process automation software bots can interact with any application or systems the same way people do, except that RPA bots can operate around the clock non-stop, much faster and with 100% reliability and precision. Case study. A large passenger carriers is having an AI bot for passenger ticketing booking with following processes. User interaction. The bot interacts with passengers through various channels such as a website, mobile app, or messaging platform. Passengers can initiate a conversation with the bots by providing their travel details, preferences, and other required information. Natural language processing. The bot utilizes language processing techniques to understand and interpret the passenger's query and request. It can process text or voice inputs and extract relevant information to facilitate ticket booking. Query handling. The bot responds to passenger queries related to ticket availability, fares, train schedules, seat preferences, and other relevant information. It can provide real-time updates and answer to common passenger questions. Booking process. Upon receiving a booking request, the bot collects the necessary details from the passenger, including travel dates, destination, class preference, and passenger information. It validates the inputs, checks seat availability, and calculates fares based on the carrier's pricing structure. Integration with booking system. The bot interfaces with the carrier's booking system to check seat availability, reserve seats, the process payment system transaction. It securely communicates with the backend system to initiate booking processes. Payment processing. The book facilitates secure payment transaction, allowing passenger to provide payment details and complete the booking. It may integrate with various payment gateways or services to process credit card payments, net banking, or other payment methods. Confirmation and ticket generation. Once the booking is successfully processed, the bot generates a booking confirmation along with a unique ticket number. It provides the passenger with the necessary information, including a ticket details, train information, and any other relevant instructions. Ancillary services. The bot may offer additional services such as seat upgrades, meal selection, travel insurance, and other ancillary offerings. It can provide information and assist passenger in availing these services during the booking processes. Post-booking support. The bot can assist passenger with post-booking support, including itinerary changes, cancellations, ticket modifications. It handles these requests, checks the carrier policies, and processes the necessary changes as per the passenger's requirements. Integration with customer support. The bot may be integrated with customer support system to escalate complex queries or issues to human agents when necessary. It can provide a seamless transaction from automated assistance to human interactions, ensuring a high level of customer services. Following are the illustrative steps to audit ticket booking board systems. First, identify the objectives and goals of auditing the IRCTC ticket booking board. Determine the scope of audit, including the specific aspects of the board functionalities and operations to be evaluated. Third, review relevant regulatory and compliance standards applicable to the ticket booking process, such as data protection, privacy regulation, payment card industry standards, and any specific industry guidelines. Fourth, identify and assess potential risks associated with ticket booking board, such as unauthorized access to customer data, system failure, and inaccurate booking information. 5. Develop a comprehensive set of audit procedures to assess the effectiveness, efficiency, and compliance of the booking board. This may include reviewing the system architecture, design, and documentation, evaluating the security measures in place, including authentication, access controls, and encryption, testing the board's functionality by simulating booking scenarios and verifying the accuracy of the results, assessing the performance of the board, such as response times and scalability, analyzing logs and audit trails to detect any unusual or suspicious activities, examining the data handling processes, ensuring proper encryption, storage, and protection of customer data, verifying compliance with relevant regulation policy procedures, conducting penetration testing or vulnerability assessing to identify potential weakness in the board security. Decide on the appropriate sampling methodology to evaluate the board performance and compliance. This may involve selecting a representative sample of booking transactions or data for analysis. Conduct the audit based on the defined procedures, following best practices and professional audit standards. Document your findings, including any issues or areas of improvement identified during the audit. Compile the audit findings into a comprehensive report detailing the audit objectives, scope, procedure performed, and results. Provide recommendation for addressing any identified weakness, risk, or non-compliance issue. Present the report to relevant stakeholders such as management, IT team, and compliance officers. track the implementations of recommendation action, and ensure appropriate measures are taken to address any identified weakness. Periodically review and monitor the board performance, security, and compliance to ensure ongoing effectiveness. Audit implication. It is utmost importance for auditor to understand RP process, which include data extraction, aggregation, sanitization, and cleansing. Unless auditor understand these processes, they will not be in position to initiate an audit. A comprehensive assurance process might demand review of the source code. To perform substantive testing, auditor must have an understanding of the tools used to develop and maintain RPA. This will be helpful when auditor reviews logs, configuration tools, privileged access controls, and the like. General IT controls are applicable as well applicable. Common risk of RPA: operational and execution risk. Robots are deployed without proper operating model, buying the wrong tool, making wrong assumptions, taking shortcuts, and jeopardizing security and compliance. Assigning proper responsibility, training, and clearing staff stating that about changing roles also can help you to reduce or operational risk to a greater extent. Change management risk: not following the change management applications lifecycle. Improper and incomplete testings lead to inaccurate results. RPA strategy risk: setting wrong expectations, improper KPIs, and unrealistic business goals create an environment of uncertainty. Management should discuss and analyze the complete working characteristics, potential, and limitations of RPA before drafting a robotic process automation. RPA to check INDAS, ICOFR, and standards on auditing. In incorporating standards on auditing, IFCOFR, INDAS, parawise details of parawise reference, accountancy policy, relevant data to be captured, relevant calculations to be made, presentation in financial statement, IFCOFR, audit procedure as per standard on auditing. In audit practices, ensure accurate financial reporting, effective internal controls, reliable audit procedures. Leveraging IRPA in conjunction with these frameworks can significantly enhance audit efficiency, accuracy, and compliance. RPA developers and auditors should collaborate to align RPA workflows with relevant standards and guidelines, ultimately improving the effectiveness of audit and enhancing client assurance. A specimen of the same is given at the end of the chapter as an excerpt.
मैं दे रहा हूँ, मैं दे रहा हूँ, मैं सब दे रहा हूँ, सब दे रहा हूँ, कुछ करना मत। मेरे चार है यार मेरे यारा, पहला तू दूजा तू तीजा तू चौथा तू, पहला तू दूजा तू तीजा तू चौथा तू, पहला तू दूजा तू। लेट नाइट चोरी कर रहे हो, ईएमआई चलती है मेरी, पहला तू। साथियों, आज उत्तर प्रदेश में भी मैं कह सकता हूँ कि यहाँ बहुत बेसुरा